Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our show. We are happy to have you join us today on this episode of History Today. And today we have got a very special guest, a very critical person in the American Revolution by the name of Paul Revere. And he's going to come and tell us a little bit about his perspective and answer a lot of questions we have about his famous ride. So without further ado, Mr. Revere, come on in.
Hello.
How are you? Have a seat. Join us. Well, thank you for coming in and talking with us. You know, you must be several hundred years old by now, but you look great. We have a lot of questions for you today that everybody has on their mind, especially about that famous ride. But before we get to that, what did you do before you rode?
Well, I was actually a silversmith, and I became a dentist, which being a silversmith came in handy with their dentistry.
Really? They really don't sound like they go together. I mean, the silversmith and the dentist, how do they benefit from each other?
Well, I was able to bend the metal really easily because of my silversmith qualities.
Oh, fantastic. And that helped out with the teeth as far as like braces and holding teeth together and stuff like that?
Yes.
That's awesome. So here you are, a silversmith and a dentist, but then you somehow get selected to take this ride. How did that go about? How did you get selected to be the one?
Well, it was kind of a funny story. I was at the bar having a drink, and when the Continental Army bursted in through the door, and he was like, "Oh, who wants to be the person who goes and tells all the towns about the British are coming?" And nope, it was completely silent. I was having my drink, and I choked on a drink, and they were like, "You, sir, you can do it."
So it was an accident. I mean, the whole time, you were just sitting there hanging out, and you accidentally volunteered.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, maybe it was good luck, because they certainly got a good person for the job. Now, if you were a dentist and everything, did you have a horse even to make the ride?
Nope.
No, you didn't have one. So where'd you get the horse from?
I borrowed it from a friend.
Boy, that was a good friend to let you borrow their horse. So you accidentally volunteer, you borrow your horse, and then what? How do you get to the point where you go and do this? I mean, there had to be a signal or something to tell you to what to do, right?
Well, I was across the lake, and there was a tower with a two big lanterns, one if by land, two if by sea. And of course, I was all like, "Okay, let's do this thing," and I got one if by land, so
it wasn't the sea, you saw the signal, it was one by land.
Yes.
So once you saw the signal, you just took off and you started down the path. So where'd you start from?
I actually started from Boston, Massachusetts.
And how far did you get? Did you complete? Did you get all the way you were supposed to go?
No, actually.
No. So where'd you stop?
Between Lexington and Concord.
Why did you stop?
Well, I was captured by British patrols, and they confiscated my horse.
You were captured?
Yes.
Really? So if you were captured and they confiscated this horse, how did the route get finished?
Well, my friend Dr. Prescott was with me, and he finished the ride for me.
Wow, man, that was a great friend. I mean, he was able to get on there and hit it up. Wow, all right. So the two of you were just going town to town to town, just screaming from, the British are coming, the British are coming, and that's how you warned everybody?
Actually, I didn't say the British were coming. I said regulars.
Regulars? What does that mean?
Which was old-time slang for British soldiers.
Oh, okay. So everybody was familiar with the regulars.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you said it, everybody knew what you were talking about. Interesting. So and of course it goes on, and the Americans won the war in that. But let me ask you. Obviously it was a critical time in U.S. history. What was your take on the war? Your perspective?
Well, I was a patriot, of course, and I actually thought it had to be done. Taxation without representation is cruel, and the war was totally necessary.
And it was necessary because they wanted to separate from Great Britain. Interesting. Okay. So after all of that, and the war was over, and your role was successful, what happened? What did you do after that?
Well, I just went back to my 8 wives and 16 children.
8 wives? You mean to tell me you had 8 wives?
Yes.
A lot of people have a hard time managing 1 wife, so you must have been a smart fellow. And how many kids did you say you had?
16.
16. Well, it's a good thing you had 2 jobs, a silversmith and a dentist, to pay for all those kids. That was a time, man. So you had your hands full. And you lived a full life after the war.
I died actually 40 years after.
40 years after the war. So you lived a long, nice life with 8 wives and 16 kids. Well, fantastic. Well, we learned a lot today. To recap, you accidentally volunteered. You made the ride. You got captured. Dr. Prescott finished it up. The war was won. Great. We learned a lot. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. And come again. Thank you. And that's all for this episode of History Today.